Morning, people. It's just turned 7 o'clock on 2nd of May 2020. Having a nice little walk through Heaton Park, listen to the birds. Hear them all. We've been up a bit now. What should we talk about? I always have Sky News on, as the radio in the background. So I'm just listening to what they're saying today. I noticed a word that I'm starting to hear off them. Current lockdown. Now that implies that this is going to be happening more and more, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It's hideous what these vile people on that vile news channel are doing, you know what I mean? By that I don't mean the vile news channel, you know, I mean that vile Sky News channel, in my opinion. But yeah, this seems to be getting us locked down, getting us used to this lockdown, and it's going to happen more and more. Current lockdown, so there'll be future ones. I don't know. I mean, I can't believe the way the British people are reacting to this. I really can't. I mean, there's fear in the face. They jump out of the way, right? You know, and you're walking towards them, they make a big point of jumping in the middle of the road and everything. They've got that zombie look on their faces. I have never ever this country has changed so much in my lifetime from when I was I was born in the 1960s. I was a little lad, and up to the 70s it was great, even into the 80s. But this new type of British person, I don't know what's wrong with them. They're like compliant zombies, you know what I mean? They're out clapping performing sea lions every Thursday. I just put the kettle on now, turn the gas kettle on at 8 o'clock, I don't have to listen to them, you know what I mean? This is really sinister, right? I mean, these are the same type of people. Remember Epstein? Not Weinstein, that other pervert. Epstein, the really nasty one, you know what I mean? What was it they said about him? Both the guards fell asleep, the camera wasn't working, and then the first time something happened, the camera's been wiped, the footage. That's their opinion of your intelligence, right? That's how they view you. That they can tell you anything, right? And you're that dumb, you'll believe it, right? I know there's a lot of people don't, but there's a lot of people do, and these are these people with these weird, faraway looks on their faces. It's like nobody's home, you know what I mean? How many people are jogging in the middle of the road? I'd love to know how many people have been run over, you know, while this thing's been going on. I mean, I don't think it's a hoax, but I think it's a low-grade weapon. I've said before, it affects old people, people with breathing problems like asthma, severe asthma, and that. What's it, emphysema? Is that the one? But emphysema. But and it seems to be affecting foreigners, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Have you noticed? I mean, they said something the other day on Sky News in brackets. You know what I mean? They said something the other day about they was pulling Black and Asian medical staff off frontline duties with the NHS, which is a funny thing to say, you know what I mean? I thought, especially after that advert. Did you see the advert the week before? It was you know, have you seen the Deliveroo one as well? That's a funny advert, mate. I tell you, it's like a little toy plastic version of that. That sinister propaganda. You clap for me now. No, I don't. Right, you get 30 grand, 50 grand, 80 grand a year. I'm not knocking you. You do a good job and you deserve being well paid. But I don't worship you. And I'm seeing more and more of these cringe videos what you're putting out. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's one thing. Anything else? I'm thinking about making a video. Right, there's a road called the A56. It's about 7.5 miles long. It runs from town, Manchester city centre, what we call town, up to Bury, right? So it starts at the 9X, what we call the 9X arena, you call the MEN arena. It starts there, in Victoria Station, right there. It's called Cheetham Road. Goes all the way ends at Lee Rigby's barracks. I think, just on that one road, I think there's something happened for every mile. If you count that Abida, and it blew the Ariana Grande concert up, and the New Year's Eve stabber last year, if you start at the bottom end, you go up through Cheetham Hill. There was the Cybernet terror thing on that road. That's another thing. And then if you come off it, well, it'd either be on that road or within a few hundred yards either side of it. But anyway, I'm just thinking of starting that. So, because it's sort of like, I've thought about it for a while, but I was up at that Stephen Oak Memorial at DC Oak about when I put my car in for its MOT on Tuesday. So I might start doing that now. Make it into a little few parters. But I think there's something happened for every mile of that road between. If you end it at Lee Rigby's Barracks, there's something for every mile of that one road in North Manchester. And that's not counting like gangland murders and things. This is just to do with things like, you know, the Manchester Arena type thing and that. You know what I mean? You don't know what to say on these things now, do you? What's going to get you censored or anything. But I think I'll get round to it. It won't be there's some really good professional videos coming out on our side now, isn't there? Yeah, I like some of them vile ones. I don't mean vile Sky News, I mean vile media. Is it vile media? What Unwashed is set up with, is it Lucy Brown or something? I like their videos. Look very well made. You know what I mean? So yeah, what's the other? Oh yeah, millennial woes, innit? I don't know what to say, it's none of my business, it's none of PA, you mean, you can't blame what's happened, I don't know what's happened, I liked him. I always thought when I first seen him, I mean I was doing a lot of stuff in 2011, 12, 13, started off with the EDL, ended up demoing with Casuals United, Combined Ex Forces, Northwest Infidels, Anti-Zionist League, you name it, I've done it with them. And then it got to Rotherham, the big one in 2014, and I kind of had 3 years off. The next demo I went to was Tommy Robinson's night demo, signing his book. It's the end of 2017. So I got back on the internet and everything and started seeing things. So when I first seen that Millennial Woes, I thought it was great. I thought, you know, this isn't what people expect us to look like. It's like our own version of Ewan McGregor, softly spoken, trusting Scottish accent. He had it all. So, yeah. I'm just looking at that sunrise over there. I thought, you know, and what he's saying is brilliant. You know, I thought it was a great advert. Heaton Park Tower, eh? I thought it was a great advert for this thing of ours. But when this happened, you know what I mean? But you can't blame PA for it. I think Mark Collett's done a really good job. I mean, the ship PA is going through stormy waters and the captain's handled it well. So, I don't really know what else to say about that. You know what I mean? I hope he, you know, I don't know. At least took himself away now, hasn't he, for a bit? You know what I mean? Nobody knows, only they know what's happened. To be honest, we need to move on from it. Can't let things like that distract you. You know what I mean? We have to have very high standards. Very, very high standards. Slightest thing we do wrong, they jump on it, don't they? You know what I mean? You know what we're coming up to now? Heaton Park Hall. Apparently, well, it's not apparently, it's fact. The Duke of Wellington used to come up here for parties and everything. And I was walking through here. I'd been to a remembrance a few years ago, only about 3 years ago. It was about May or something, so I left it on the other side of Blakely. I left the girl's house at, it was just getting dusk. So I got to it was just getting dark when I got to the other side of Heaton Park. And so I'm walking up on my own. It's a pretty big park this at night, you know, it's dark. And I get to this place, you're going to see it in a minute, and it's all lit up and everyone's dressed in Victorian clothes. They was filming some kind of, I don't know what it was. It was something anyway. They was doing something here. But it was very weird. You walk through a dead park with nobody in it, pitch black at night, and then you get to this magnificent building all lit up like it was 200 years ago with all these people dressed like Victorians or not really Victorian, it was pre-Victorian, wasn't it? Just before, about 10 years before Queen Victoria came to the throne, the Duke of Wellington was partying here with his cronies. Is that when all Zionism started, is it? That's what I've heard, just before then, you know. So yeah, it's a magnificent building, isn't it? Look at that. And the sun coming up over it. And there's a little building there, that will have been the stables or something, I would imagine. Yeah. Right, how many bedrooms has that got? It's had some renovation recently. You know, it's about time they put money into buildings like this. You know what I mean? Once these are gone, you can't replace them. I'll show you what it says on this sign here. Yeah, this is where they was all in. He was all dressed in costume, all dark, and then the lights was there coming out of that door. I've walked around there, pitch black, and just didn't even know what was happening. Bizarre like that. Right. Yeah, that's what it looked like. It's an engraving by James Storer. Right, and this is what it says. Heaton Hall, the house was originally stood on this site, thought to date from the 17th century. In 1772, Sir Thomas Egerton, later First Earl of Wilton, commissioned James Wyatt to design the present house. Wyatt was one of the most fashionable architects of the late 18th century, and his design was inspired by classical architecture that he had seen on his travels in Europe. The second Earl and his wife, Lady Mary, were great socialites and held lively house parties in the early 1800s. During this period, many notable people visited Heaton Hall, including the Duke of Wellington and the actress Fanny Kemble. I've never heard of her. Inside the hall, the lavish decoration and fashionable furnishings reflect the typical tastes of a wealthy 18th century aristocrat. Well, there you go, little history lesson. Imagine it, the Duke of Wellington coming out of there with Fanny, what's her name? Fanny Kemble. Yeah, imagine what they got up to in there. Nothing, did they, you know? Maybe the early degenerate behaviour, but I don't know. I'll turn off in a minute, you know what I mean? I'll just come down, I'll give you the view. Come around this corner, start sloping down, then the walk gets easier. It's really broken terrain in this park, up and down, up and down. Hear the birds? Lots of birds. It's great when you got it to yourself. There's you should just be able to see what we call town over there, what city centre of Manchester. This is the front end of it. Overlooks, so it slopes down there to the lake. There's a big lake down there. It slopes down. There's another dog, there's a dog walker. Got the lions outside. Yeah. That's a good skyline. You can just see them. We call it Manhattan. You know, all them new towers, that Beaton Tower and everything. We call it Manhattan. Yeah, let's see what this says. The Ha-Ha or sunken wall dates from the 1770s when the landscape designer William Eames designed the park as a setting for the new Heaton Hall. It was built as a hidden barrier to stop cattle grazing on the formal lawns in front of the house, so that when looking from the house nothing could be seen to interrupt the view. The Dower House, which is located next to the North Car Park, also has its own Ha-Ha. The Ha-Ha originated in France in the 17th century, and the earliest example is at Leavens Hall in Cumbria and dates from 1695. Yeah, so that orangery is up there, so this is there, so this must be this wall. I'll show it you. See it there? It's a tiny little wall. It's like a little moat thing that, I bet it fills up with rain when it's raining, doesn't it? I'll show you the front of it while I'm here. Magnificent building, isn't it? Got a pigeon there having his breakfast. Yeah. It's a magnificent building. Look at that. Just taking up as far as the lines because I've got one seeing me man now. Going down there. See them lions there on the front. Right, so this is your little ha-ha wall. That's your, that's looking over Blake Lane to North Manchester. There's your town. Right, I'll see you next time.